Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. So yeah, in this video I'm going to be talking about 10 first time watches for me for the month of July 2023. I was really impressed with some of these movies that I saw this month that were first time watches, and in most cases first time hearing about these movies. But yeah, that being said, going to kick it off with my first pick that I saw for the first time. That is a movie called Desperate Measures, starring Andy Garcia and Michael Keaton. Really cool concept of this movie that I really enjoyed and really dug this movie. So yeah, it's Andy Garcia plays this detective who his son's dying of this sort of rare cancer, and to survive it he has to have a transplant. But the only matching donor is actually a serial killer played by Michael Keaton. And Garcia has to try and convince him to try and help him save his son's life by going through the transplant. And all I'll say is things don't go to plan. And yeah, I just really enjoyed this movie and just thought it was great. So yeah, that is Desperate Measures. Next up was a movie starring Chris Christopherson and the late Trent Williams, and that is Flashpoint. Kind of a precursor, this one, to A Simple Plan. Sort of like these two cops who do border patrol stumble across this Jeep and they find a large amount of money. I think it's $800,000, and they decide to keep it. And the FBI turn up and come sniffing around and take a great interest in the car that they found. And yeah, I just really love this movie. Kurtwood Smith, and it was great as well. And yeah, I just had an absolute blast with this one. So yeah, that is Flashpoint. Next up was a movie I wasn't expecting to like, and this is definitely a guilty pleasure movie because I fucking loved it. And it was Josie and the Pussycats. I had an absolute ball with this film. Even when the movie opened and I saw Alan Cummings in the movie, I was like, he's usually the kiss of death. He's notorious for being in bad movies like Spice World, the movie, Flintstones and Fever Rock Vegas, Son of the Mask. And yeah, I just thought, oh, I'm going to hate this. But on the contrary, I absolutely loved it. I had an absolute blast with it. Sort of very satirical on the music industry and how it's run. But yeah, really enjoyed this one. I just thought it was so entertaining. Not great, but like I said, very enjoyable and entertaining. So yeah, that is Josie and the Pussycats. Next up, I picked up another movie with Natasha Lyonne, Marissa Tomei, and Alan Arkin, and that is Slums of Beverly Hills. I just really enjoyed this movie again. It had a great cast to it, great premise, so following these nomads who travel around LA just trying basically to get by, but it's the cast of characters that are just great in this one. And if you're a fan of Marissa Tomei, this one's definitely worth checking out for reasons I don't have to say. But yeah, really enjoyed Slums of Beverly Hills. Just thought it was great. Next up, I watched a movie with Don Johnson and Jennifer Connelly, and that is The Hotspot. Yeah, it just sort of follows Don Johnson, who is very much kind of like a con man in this movie. And yeah, I just really enjoyed it. I thought William Sadler in the film as well played this really sort of creepy fellow with a bit of an agenda. But yeah, it was a movie I really enjoyed. Again, if you're fans of Jennifer Connelly, this is one definitely worth to check out. But yeah, I just had a great time with this one. I believe this one recently had a release on the Radiance label, but yeah, had a good time with it. Really enjoyed it. So yeah, that's The Hotspot. Next up, I watched one of River Phoenix's last movies for the first time, and that is The Thing Called Love. Yeah, this was just a great movie with a fantastic cast: Samantha Mathis, River Phoenix, Sandra Bullock, and Dermot Mulroney. Yeah, it was just a great movie about people sort of trying to get their foot in the door at the in the country music industry. And yeah, I just thought it was great. It had some great songs to it, great music, great acting, and yeah, it just follows the main two leads who the movie pretty much focuses on them, and they get married in the movie, and they kind of sort of realize maybe we've run into this too fast. And yeah, it was just a great story. Like I said, great music, great cast, just really, really enjoyable. So yeah, that is The Thing Called Love. Next up, I watched a movie with Natalie Portman and Ashley Judd, and that is Where the Heart Is. And another movie I really enjoyed. It sort of follows Natalie Portman, who's she's heavily pregnant, and her boyfriend are traveling to try and kickstart his music career, and he ends up abandoning her at like a big supermarket, and she ends up sort of connecting with the supermarket and the people there, and how her life advances after she's been abandoned, and how his music career really takes off, and the two come full circle towards the end. And I just really enjoyed it. I thought it was a really underrated movie, with great performances in it. So yeah, that is Where the Heart Is. Next up, I watched a movie with Rob Lowe and Patrick Swayze from 1986, and that is Young Blood. Really, really awesome sports movie about ice hockey. And yeah, there's some really good, brutal moments in this movie as well, particularly with what happens with Patrick Swayze. And it's heartbreaking what happens to him in the movie. And yeah, I just thought Rob Lowe gave a fantastic performance. Great soundtrack in there as well. You've got a young Keanu Reeves in this movie as well. And yeah, I just thought it was a really good sports movie. It was kind of like, it reminded me a little bit of Happy Gilmore, but without the humour. The ice skating part of it, I guess. Movies like Lethal Weapon 3 as well. But yeah, it was really enjoyable, this one, and I just really loved the cast in it. So yeah, that is Young Blood. Next up, I watched Eye for an Eye with Sally Field and Kiefer Sutherland. This was kind of like the female version of Death Wish. It was just great. It's Sally Field, pretty much. She gets this phone call from her daughter while she's being murdered, and she's just absolutely horrified with what she's hearing, and she's screaming for help. And they find out who the killer was, but he gets away with it from lack of evidence. So Sally Field decides to take things into her own hands. And yeah, like I said, it kind of reminded me a little bit of Death Wish. But yeah, I just thought the movie was great. Kiefer Sutherland was absolutely creepy as fuck in this movie. And yeah, Ed Harris, as Sally Field's husband, was great in it as well. But yeah, really, really awesome, creepy movie. That is worth checking out if you've not seen it. So yeah, that is Eye for an Eye. And the last movie I picked up was, funnily enough, another movie with Kiefer Sutherland, and that is Article 99 with Ray Liotta as well. This movie had an absolutely exceptional cast. Leah Thompson, John C. McGinley, and like I said, Ray Liotta and Kiefer Sutherland as well. This movie is pretty much Grey's Anatomy or ER the movie. It is pretty much very, very heavily takes place at a hospital. And it's sort of about these doctors who, some of them are brand new, some of them have been there for years. And it's just how they're coping with some of the changes the hospital wants to make. And yeah, it's just some people go crazy. Someone ends up taking hostages. Keith David's in the movie as well from The Thing, and There's Something About Mary. And yeah, it was just a really, really good movie, and I just really enjoyed it. Just had a blast with it. So yeah, that is Article 99. So yeah, those are the 10 movies I watched for the first time this month. Never seen them before. I'm glad I watched them because I had an absolute ball with all of them. So yeah, gonna leave the video there, guys, and say thanks very much for watching. Stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.